All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I am joined by my dear friend, Dr. Liz Delancey of Albany State University. And today we're going to be talking. We wanted to come on and talk about the upcoming production by the dance program at ASU. I am delighted that you are joining me. Those of you that will be watching this broadcast. I'm delighted to have you. And I want you to really, really mark your calendars. Be ready for this outstanding production. A Black Girl's Window is the name of the production. And of course, I'm joined by my dear friend and colleague, Dr. Liz Delancey. Good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a joy for me to actually talk with you because you just have so much artistic uh, creativity and so much wisdom concerning the arts and so many other things.
Thank you.
Okay. And so I'm just so delighted to have you with us today. How are you?
I am well. It's countdown. As you mentioned, Black Girls Window that is coming up. So it's crunch time for a lot of different aspects of the production.
So you're excited.
I am very excited.
Well, can I tell you a secret? I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm always excited when I see young people expressing themselves via the arts and just whenever there are community events. And I'm excited, and I'm also excited whenever Albany State is at the center of those community events. So before we start talking about the actual event, tell me why it is important that uh, our beloved well, my alma mater, so of course it's my beloved institution. But why is it important that Albany State uh, presents something that the community can also engage in?
Right. Well, now let me just say I graduated from Hampton, but I do love Albany State University too. Okay. But I always say that the arts at our university, they serve as a natural bridge from our institution to the community. And I feel it's also important that our students are engaged. The students who are emerging artists, working artists, they have the ability to articulate not just with words, but through
Mm,
their craft. And then conversely, their ability to articulate through their craft makes them better communicators verbally.
yes.
So I love that, and I always believe that there's a strong mind-body connection. And so, just to see, the evolution of my dancers, I feel like a proud mama. I really do. This is a new group. We haven't had a dance production since 2018. Because of a lot of things,
Yes.
changes in personnel,
The
transition in
pandemic.
the institution, the
Yes.
consolidation. So that was like a major shift. And then I remember I was preparing for a production in 2020, and then we had to shut down everything.
Yes.
Um, and honestly, thereafter, I just really didn't feel comfortable bringing people together. I did, collaborate, with my colleague who is a theater director, um, um, and work with him on some things. But I just didn't feel comfortable having people, shoulder to shoulder. So I had to let that go, because people have moved on, and
Yes.
so, and there are people who still do mask in crowded areas. So I have to let that be, their personal responsibility. And I just make sure, masks are provided and all that stuff. But all of these things were weighing on my mind, because, I do take that very seriously, having, lost your twin, and then, having other friends and colleagues who've lost loved ones as well, and then working on three actually COVID grants. I just could not take any of that lightly. But here we are. I did auditions, held auditions in the fall semester. I brought a former dancer, um, and graduate of Albany State back to conduct the audition,
Mhm.
to give the incoming group, a different kind of experience. And from that, I gained 5 dancers, and that's grown. And it was just really important for me to just kind of keep the momentum going, because these young people, they want to perform, and I wanted to create a safe space for them to perform. Unfortunately, some on-campus environments can be um, challenging. I'll
Mhm.
just leave it at that. Because we really do need to work on how we teach leadership to our young people, because I think that that's lacking, and until we can really do that in a really good way, um some spaces and some groups are just not safe, and so I know that my young people, they wanted to dance. And we talk a lot about the idea of building community, something that my colleague, Tavares Wilson, said. And what one thing that we heard from the performers was that they liked performing because it not only allowed them to practice their craft and engage in their craft, but there was a level of camaraderie there that they would not have otherwise. And so I'm seeing that happen with my group as well. And it just makes me just smile, because I know, one, they're safe. Two, they're fun. They're creating these, hopefully lifelong relationships. And three, they're evolving. I mean, just looking at, where they started, a lot of them, and where they are now. And how they just hold on to lessons, and how they are learning even as the process is coming together. So
Mhm.
it's just, 360 degrees. It's just exciting all the way around.
Okay. So now, so you have a dance program, and well, you have built or rebuilt, or continuing to build a dance program at one that Albany State can be proud of, and the community can be proud of. So let's talk about, we talked about the community, that is something that the community can also take part in. The
Mhm.
community can this is not just for Albany State faculty, staff, for the Albany State community, not just for ASU students. It is something that the community can come to.
Right.
Why do you think, again, why is that important? Do you think that's important? Why it can be used as some type of bridge, between Albany State and the community of Albany, Georgia, and
Mhm.
Southwest Georgia?
Right. Well, I think that it's important. Listen, our department has some of the foremost artists working there
Yes.
teaching, and a lot of times, we do what we do, and we share that for free, and I think that's important. Um, I feel that if we can ever really get a handle on how we can promote what we're doing on campus, nobody would ever have to go to Atlanta to for anything, because
Mm,
we do it all.
mm,
And high quality, at a high caliber. And I feel that that is important.
yes.
I'm going to share, just be a little transparent, okay? And I hope it's not harsh, but I've had the opportunity to participate in some community activities, like, for example, the parade. And I've had my girls participate in the parade, and the homecoming parade. And then I watched, I think it was the holiday parade, the Christmas parade. And one thing that I'm noticing with the dance groups is that they do the same things.
Hmm.
I mean, whether the children are 5 to 15 and up, whatever, it's the same vocabulary. Um, so what I'm seeing is that the people who are teaching have a limited vocabulary.
Hmm.
Um, and and so the problem with that is that when these children grow up and they want to go and study dance, they're in for a rude awakening,
Hmm.
because their lens has been
Limited.
so narrow for a
Mm,
long time. So they say, "Oh, I've been dancing since I was 5." But their vocabulary has been, a series of death drops and, you know, body isolations and things like that, and a lot of hair slinging.
Okay.
And so, so they don't understand class studio etiquette. They don't understand performance in a proscenium space or arena space,
Mhm.
and so it's a different thing. And so why it is important for people to come is so that they can see that there is a broader, there's more.
Mhm.
There's more. There's more to dance than what they're seeing and what they're participating in. Um, and we're even for Black Girls Window, we're doing a school show. I don't know how many schools will be able to attend because I know that the milestones testing is coming up, which is always unfortunate, because our performance season often, conflicts with or butts up against that. Um, but I think it's important for them to see um, all of the ways that dance can exist. So I'm not knocking what I've seen, but there's more. And so it makes sense that the university is the one that has this information to share because we're an institution of higher learning. And so when the people come to enjoy, they hopefully are also learning, I can maybe send my daughter or my son to the community dance education program, until they're ready to join Albany State University dance program as, a visual and performing arts major. So there are educational opportunities that they'll learn about as well. But it's about exposure. Really, is what I'm trying to say. It's really about exposure. When you see that, it's not we're not doing death drops, but we're working on being pulled up, and it's not about tricks, but the importance of being able to stand on stage, just stand
Mhm.
and command the space.
Mm.
That's the hardest thing, actually. I'm working with one of my young dancers. I'm very proud of her. And she had, a majorette background, but working on those small things. I like to say to my students, you have to dance the transitions. There's
Mm.
so much emphasis placed on those big ticket items, those tricks, those let me jump up, fall down, or let me hyperextend and dislocate my hips so my leg can be up and over there, and all of these things that, well, if that's what you're into, then great. But okay, so after you've done that, or after you've done the 8 pirouettes,
Mhm.
then what? Where does the dancing happen? And that's in between. It's great to be able to be hyper flexible. It's great to be able to do multiple turns. All of those things. It's great to have impeccable technique, but it's the dancing that happens in between those moments that engage the people.
Mm.
Otherwise it's like, you do something and then you shut the light off and then you run to the next spot. Then you do the big thing or you turn the light back on and do I'm bored, you know. So there's a learning when people are watching and they're seeing the idea of continuity, they're seeing artistry. There's a learning that's happening as well as enjoyment, I hope.
Wow. So let's and what the community needs, to see the growth and development of artists is very, very important. So let's talk about Black Girls Window. Black Girl Possessive
Hmm. Yep.
Window. Let's talk about why that title. Okay. Let's talk about that first.
Okay.
What brought about that particular title?
One of my favorite artists, well, I don't know, maybe that's overstating it. Betty Saar, I'm not even sure if I'm saying her name right, created a piece that is like textiles and different types of materials, and her work is entitled Black Girl's Window. And she has this black figure, and the figure is very dark and this bright white eyes, and then there are like little windows above the black girl peering through this window, and there's like a skeleton and something else and something else, and I've always been intrigued by that work. And, and I think about Black women, particularly during this time.
Mhm.
And I think about what we just, we were on the precipice of making history.
Yes.
And I really embraced the idea of what that would look like. And then, of course, on the other side of it, the managing the great disappointments.
Mhm.
And then, the whole thing about, Black women saying, I'm sitting this one out, and, all of these things. And so I was just thinking of all of those ways of being and processing where we are now.
Yes.
And I also think about how so often, Black women are seen as the ones who, whoa, Black women did it again. And I'm thinking, yeah, because we know what's at stake for us. So
Right,
we're doing
right.
what we need to do for
Mhm.
ourselves. It's not like we're running around with capes trying to save the world. We know that the world is harder for us.
Yes.
So I wanted to, thinking of Betty Starr's work and thinking about, you know, when we look through the window, at the possibilities, like looking through the window at what it would have been to have a Black woman president, looking through the window at opportunities in spite of the destruction of everything that's going on, looking through the window at a world that shows us supporting us.
Mhm.
So I wanted to celebrate all of those things. And I also wanted to look at some challenges that we face, some very real challenges. Like, for example, I am going to uh, be focusing on Black women and infant mortality, maternal mortality, in one of the works. One of my students choreographed a piece. It's entitled 19 Days. And it is choreographed to a woman telling the story of her 19-day miscarriage. And she has some, I mean, it's really real. And then, one of my dancers is she kind of creates sound. The sound editor. She put together um this testimony of this woman talking about her 19-day miscarriage because of lack of access to women's health care. And then on the tail end of that, we hear um Kamala Harris talking about women not wanting to suffer just because they want to expand their families. And I think about like the women who've died in childbirth, and it was already challenging for a lot of Black women anyway before all of the overturning of the Roe v. Wade, and
Mhm.
it was already challenging. We
Yes.
look at how we almost lost Serena Williams,
Mhm.
because the skin that we're in is challenging for some medical practitioners
Right.
because they don't want to hear, they ignore what we're saying. And so too many of us were dying already. And then now, you're having these greater levels of sepsis, women dying, and their doctors can't touch them until they're to the point where they're critically ill. And really, at that point, when they can provide some health care, it is too late.
Mm.
And so, we're looking at these increased numbers of women dying. And of course, we know the whole adage, if they get a cold, we get pneumonia,
Mhm.
you know. And so, and it's really crucial. And so I felt that that was important to comment on that. But then there's also celebration of Black women, celebration of mothers, celebration of all the things that we are to each other and to our families.
Mhm.
And I'm really thrilled, and I have to brag on you because you created and are allowing me to use, I think, 5 or 6 poems.
Mhm.
And one is called Black Girl's Window because we talked about this idea because I've been kind of sitting with this. Speaking of babies, this baby for a few years, and
Mhm.
it just didn't happen because of the pandemic. But you wrote it 5 years ago, like four or
Yeah, I
five
think.
years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so Black Girl's Window, that's a poem that's going to be read by some of the theater, one of the theater women. Sister to Sister is another
Yes.
poem that you're letting me share. And that's going to be recited by a young woman, Vinay Bryant. Um, We the People,
Yes.
and that
That's going to be interesting.
yeah, I'm really excited about that one. I'm excited about all of them, but um, I asked my department chair, who is an amazing percussionist, and I call her our Sheila E. Um, she is going to play the djembe, and she's going to accompany the young woman who is reciting the poem,
Mm,
and the same, the young woman who is performing. And it actually, and the same young woman who choreographed 19 days, she choreographed this as
oh,
well.
wow. And these are
Yes,
students
these are
core. Yeah.
students. These are well, right now I only have one student choreographer. They did get opportunities to choreograph and do their own works, but like for this,
Mm-hmm.
this young woman is like her works were ready. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But she is a student.
She's a student. She's a student,
Yes.
and so she's performing that as a solo, and it's, I'm just so pleased. And so to have the support of my chair, but as an artist working with a theater major and my dancer, and all women, black women who are, in different fields,
Yes.
together in one space, and they all look different, and it's just so beautiful, because sometimes I find myself in rehearsal just looking at the variety of woman that
Yes.
is in the
Yes.
company and the strengths that they bring, and it's hard to not get overwhelmed, and so that I'm really excited about. And then I'm also bringing back a work that was originally choreographed by a former dancer of mine, Brianna
Mhm.
Mathis, called For Women. And it, of course, what I do with that is I, adjust the choreography to best suit the dancer. So
Mhm.
the concept, the original concept was Brianna Mathis's, but like I said, it's evolved. So, as director, I, take liberties
Yes.
to do things to make it the best it can be for the dancer that is performing. But that is always a big hit. And and then just so many, so the concert Black Girls Window, it's going to have music. I have Desiree Callahan, who's going to sing. The ASU singers are
Mhm.
going to sing the Negro National Anthem to open the performance,
Okay.
and then another work by a female writer. So we have your poems, we have an excerpt from the Vagina Monologues, and then a piece that I was able to finish before spring break, yay, called just simply Orange and Blue by Lettucey. It's a work that wasn't widely released that she did.
Okay.
Long piece of music. It's eight it's 8 minutes. Um, and that woman is incredible.
Oh, yes.
Woo! She's incredible. But we were able to get that done, and and just feature, like, so that's like the core group of the company,
Mhm.
performing in that. And so that will close the show. And and I'm just, I'm thrilled. I have one of my former students who's doing some videography, video editing.
Okay.
It's just a community affair. I have a young woman, Billy Sands, who's going to be recording the show. I have a young woman who was a graduate of the Dart and Dance program, who's going to be setting the lights. So I mean, it's really just like woman forward, yeah.
So, in the words of Sly Stone, it's not a family affair; it's a female affair.
It's a female fair, and it's a female fair. It really, I mean,
Oh, okay.
truly, I mean, it's like women, women, women.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just the power that happens when you bring so many women together. And like the woman who is over the ASU Singers is also incredible. Oh my God! And I
Is
forgot
that the ASU concert chorale?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, and
Okay.
so she's calling it the ASU Singers,
Okay.
and
Okay.
so it's kind of
Got
like a
it.
take on like the Freedom
Freedom
Singers,
Singers. Yeah.
right?
Got it. Got it.
And and kind of a nod to Bernice Johnson Reagan, and I'll put a pin in that because I want to talk about that piece too. But
Yeah, because
yeah,
I was gonna bring it up, but
yeah,
since you
yeah, I got you, yeah. But she's participating in that, and
yeah.
she's going to be playing clarinet and
Okay.
accompanying. I can't remember which piece she's accompanying. Lord. it's something. I can't even remember. It's just all kind of a
Yeah.
tumble in my head because I forgot about when I said, Bernice Johnson Regan, that is also a poem that you wrote.
Yep.
And if you could share with us the motivation for that poem.
Ooh. Well, yeah, I yeah, I don't assume everybody knows who Dr. Bernice Johnson Regan was, but Dr. Regan was a native Albanian, who went on to do extraordinary, phenomenal things. Who passed away, but she passed away in 2024. And I had always looked up to Dr. Regan because she was from Albany, because she was an artist who had, she went on to actually found Sweet Honey in the Rock a cappella group, and she just did so much. I mean, so many different things. I can't even won't even get into naming all of them. But she was always, from my being a little, kid, she was somebody that I always looked up to and admired as an artist. And so for me as a writer, um, when she passed away, it impacted me, and I was just inspired because she had always inspired me in some way. And so I wrote a poem, "Old Daughter of Albany," and it was written for her. And so when we were talking about, I don't know how we even got to even talking about Dr. Regan, you said, "Hey, why don't you, not just uh, contribute the poem, but actually read it." And
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
something that I will be. I can't remember the last time I've read a poem as a part, read poetry as a part of a production.
Mhm.
So I mean, of course, I've done numerous poetry readings over the last 30 something years. But to be able to actually be a part of this production, to actually come out on stage and read this poem, honoring her, is just like, one of the highlights of my life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so looking at that, thinking about that, and I remember asking you, what are some adjectives that you would use to describe Dr. Regan? And we were in the studio. I think it was
Mhm.
during one of my rehearsals.
Yep, you put me on the spot, yes.
I did. And one of the things that you said, and I was hoping that you had said it, and you did, you said warrior.
Yes.
And I was like, thank God, because the concept that I had with that is, using capoeira.
Mhm.
It's been a long time since I've done any kind of capoeira. I know my former boss, Jowle Zoller, who is the reason I knew who Dr. Bernice Johnson Regan
Wow.
was, because
Yeah.
that's how I met her, when because it's just so amazing, like
Yes.
how many
Full
people,
circle.
I mean, I'm telling you, and I'm just like, oh my God, anyway, so hearing the original Sweet Honey in the Rock
Yes.
in Tallahassee as a part of Urban Bush Women, it was just like one of my highlights. So but anyway, but you said warrior, and so I had a dancer doing some, very light, accessible
Mhm.
capoeira, and she'll bring you out into the space, because I think about Bernice Johnson Regan being on the front lines, if you
Mhm.
will. And I think about her singing,
Yes.
and how it was important that it was a community thing, one.
Yes.
And I think about, like, capoeira is a community thing, and how, something that was an art was used to overthrow um tyranny,
Wow.
slavery, in the places where it was practiced. And I think about where capoeira started in Angola, and then it journeyed across the oceans with Africans, and they were able to fight, and gain their liberation. And it was something that was done in plain sight, but then they could, all of these things that it could be. And so I think about Bernice Johnson Regan, and I also think about that part. Listen, I can't tell you where it is in the Bible, but I know about it, where the singers, the praisers,
Jehoshaphat.
yes,
Yes.
they were in the front
Yes.
of the warriors,
Mhm.
and so I think about how her work as an artist broke down and shattered walls, shook down walls,
Yes.
and so to me, all of that kind of made sense. So hopefully it'll make sense to the audience.
Yes. Yes.
And so, having Antoinette, who's one of our new company members, do that, that movement,
Yes.
and then bring you out into the space where you um, give honor
Yes.
to a great warrior.
And I hope I don't cry.
Well, if you do, there's room. There
I
is
know.
room
I know.
for it.
Yeah.
And I think that we found some really beautiful images of Dr. Regan, and I'm looking forward to seeing you do that. And because you've as long as I've known you, you've talked about that powerful woman.
Yes.
I mean, you just have. I know it was a devastating blow for you, and it was a loss. It
Yes.
was
Yes.
when you lost her, and I just felt that it was a great way for you to honor one of your
Yes.
sheroes.
Yes.
And so I'm thrilled that you did not give me a hard time.
I didn't.
Not too much of a hard time. I'm like, okay, now we're gonna see how you take direction when we get in the studio at the
Oh.
theater, but I think you'll do fine though,
Uh-oh.
honestly.
I
I
hope
think you'll be
so.
fine. You will.
You know, I
And
get
I
you know,
am,
I get mad quickly.
oh well, and so do I. And so do I, especially in the theater space. So I'm gonna
Yes.
pray over you that
Yeah. Okay. Great. 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 Great.
you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. So yeah,
Great.
yeah, and so I'm just really thrilled. I'm really thrilled at the support,
Yes.
of my colleagues, you and um, Dr. Erica Edwards, who
Yes.
is the director of the ASU Singers, Dr. Jillian Baxter, who is our department chair, and
Yes.
also who's going to be playing, and Professor Tavares Wilson, who has loaned me his artists for this endeavor. So and then I'm just so grateful and thankful for my company members,
Yes.
and the dedication that they have shown through this process. So I'm really pleased to do whatever I need to do to create an environment that they deserve, to
Yes.
showcase the hard work that they have been putting forth in this endeavor. So
Wow.
yeah.
So the tell us the dates
Okay.
and the location
Mhm.
of where we need to be.
Right. Okay. Now, if you know of children or school age kids, high school and below, I have a school show, and that's going to be on the 11th at 10
Okay.
a.m. Um, and that's going to be at the ASU West Campus Theater in Building J.
Okay.
Okay. But the shows that are open to the general public are on the 12th, and we have two on that day.
Okay.
And so I need to make sure that everybody's there because we want to, have a full crowd for the performers. So on April 12th, which is a Saturday, there's a 2:30 p.m. show. So we're doing a matinee.
Okay.
And there's also a 7:30 show. So same day. And so, and I have some people who are coming in from out of town to support the dancers, and they will be attending both. And so, um, you're welcome to go to both, and one of my dancers said that her grandmother had already reserved her hotel room. So, the support of the dancers is just really blessing my heart. But yeah, so all three shows are going to be in the ASU West Theater in Building J. And so again, the shows that are open to the public are on April 12th at 2:30 and 7:30. And so 2:30 you can come, if you're a caretaker, you can, get a little bit of a respite and then still get out of there. Um and while it's light, and then go about life. I'm anticipating that the show will be about an hour and a half, somewhere around there. And yeah, and so we're gonna do it, and then plan for the next thing,
Yes.
in the
Yes.
fall, right?
So April the 11th
Hmm.
is a show for the school age kids,
That's right.
the elementary school, middle
Elementary, middle, high
school, high
school.
school
Right.
kids,
Hmm.
students. And then on the 12th,
Hmm.
there are two shows.
Hmm.
One at 2 p.m. Is that right?
That's correct.
And then one at 7:30. Okay. So a Friday show for the kids, for the students in Dougherty County or whatever, or surrounding
That's
areas.
right.
So if you want to, if you're a school out there in your South Georgia, Mitchell County, wherever you are, Worth County, and you want your kids to, your students to come to this performance, they can come on Friday.
Right. Now, we just have to reach out to me and then we
reach
can
out to
yeah,
Dr. Lance. I was gonna get to that.
right.
And then on Saturday,
Oh, and let me
there are
go
two
back. Let
shows.
me go back.
Yes.
Because of a generous donation from Renaissance Connection, the
Yes.
school performance is free of charge to the school age children and their chaperones.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful to Renaissance Connection, a community serving organization that promotes the arts in our area, for that generous donation, because I feel that it is important to expose children to the arts, to engage them, to teach patronage, to encourage their interest in pursuing the arts as a lifestyle and career. Yeah, so thank you, Renaissance Connection.
All right. And so I'm excited. I want you to get excited. I know Dr. Lance is excited. And the reason why I know that is because no matter what we're talking about, she finds a way to slip in,
It happens. It happens. I don't care if
to
we're
slip in
talking about
something about
Cheerios.
this production.
It'll come. I don't know. I'll find a way to bring up Black Girls
She
Windows
finds a way to slip it in.
somehow. That's right,
And
Lisa.
so I know that you are excited about it.
I am
And I'm excited about it, even
right.
though sometimes I don't want to talk about it. But I'm
Right.
excited.
Well,
And that's just a little humor. I'm just joking
yeah.
around. I'm just joking around.
But
But
but you are right.
yeah,
I do. I don't care. I mean,
yeah,
seriously, I could be
yeah.
talking about weeds and
But well,
somehow
but you know what? I see it as you're proud.
I am
You're
very.
like a proud parent
I really am. I'm
of
so proud of
something
my
that you have birthed
dancers.
and continue to nurture and develop and guide. So into adulthood. So I
Yeah.
understand. I
Yeah.
understand. And to see those young girls grow and just become they're just becoming.
Yes,
And I think
it's
that's
just
that's that
amazing.
that's the key.
It is amazing.
They are becoming before our eyes.
It
And
is
so
amazing.
so yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Now tell us again, tell us ticket
Oh,
prices,
okay.
the dates, again, the location, so we will be able to stress how people can really get to see this show.
Okay, yes. General admission is only $10. So yeah, no group rates because $10 you can't beat that. I don't think
Yes.
you can see a movie
Y-
for $10.
you can't see the previews for $10.
I don't think so. So, I've kept my prices at the same price they've been. And then for military, for students, high school, non-ASU students, and for seniors 65 and plus,
Okay.
$5.
Okay.
And for Albany State University students, $1.
Okay.
Now, dear faculty, Albany State University, $10.
Okay.
$10. Okay. Support our efforts, please.
Yes.
But students $1. And
Okay.
the reason I charge $1 for the students is because, again, teaching patronage.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
so that's part of the education process as
Yes.
well. And again, it is April 12th, the projections, the performances that are open to the general public,
Hmm.
Saturday, April 12th at 2:30 and at 7:30 on ASU West Campus. That's the old Darton campus,
Okay.
2400 Gillianville Road in Building J. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And so I want to I don't want that to be the last thing that you say, but I want you to also just share with us um just a couple of what is your vision moving forward for the dance program?
Wow. Yes. I don't, I always, I want to continue to grow it. I want to, oh man, for the arts really to have the, the respect that is due, because the arts are important to us as a culture. Um, so what my vision is to continue to grow the program and to attract dancers who are interested in training and who want to, if not work professionally as dancers, perform at a high level in college. And if they, a lot of students say, I want to have a studio, or I want to choreograph, or
Mm,
I want to dance, do commercial dance. This is a great place and a great time and a great way to learn, and you're learning and you're performing. The andragogy, the pedagogy, it's strong, and what I'm also interested in is providing those cross educational experiences as
mhm,
well. So I know Professor Wilson and I were talking about consolidating our programs into the dance theater program because we collaborate so much.
mhm,
um so that's something we're looking at. And then like exchanging, because exchanging, working with both sets of our students, because an effective dancer knows how to act, and a hireable actor is one that knows how to dance.
mm,
So that strong partnership there. But and continuing collaboration, demonstrating that for the dancers, because we do rely on one another. We're relying on text from
mhm.
a prolific writer, a poet, and also music. And we also look to visual art. So it's all dance encompasses all of those things. So I'm looking forward to opportunities to continue to collaborate, which that's just who I am. I can't not. And and to really teach that, and to just really continue to give my students opportunities to um, get out there and to take risks. You had asked me yesterday, was it yesterday? That was my birthday. Yeah. Um, well, I don't know when this is going to air, but the other day, you asked me to say some words that what would I tell my younger self? And one thing that I said was, to go for it, to take risks, to like be fearless. And this is something that I want my dancers, well, all of the young people with whom I work, to have, because I let fear stop me in a lot of areas, and I don't want that for them. I want them
Yeah.
to go beyond what I did. So I want to equip them with everything that I think that they might need, and if it's something that I can't provide, to put them in the right direction so they can work with my colleagues so that they're fully equipped, to meet any challenge,
Mhm.
and just to jump. Look, forget about looking before you leap. Just jump and trust that you're going to grow wings.
Wow. Well, Dr. Delancey, thank you so much
Thank you.
for doing this special broadcast or special recording to talk about Black Girls Window, because it is extremely important. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see it, the finished product. I try to just stay away from it, as much as I can. But I know I'm gonna too have to start going to rehearsal so I
Yes,
can get into the flow and into the flow of the the
that's right.
production.
Yes,
But thank you so much. I look forward to seeing it. I community, I implore you, I encourage you to bring your young people, bring your sisters, you know, sisters come out together, brothers come out together, fathers, sons, daughters, mothers, it doesn't matter. I want you all to experience this wonderful production of Black Girls Window.
thank you.
So April the 12th is
Yes.
the general public or the general presentation. April the 11th, the young people, students can contact Dr. Delancey, teachers, principals, contact Dr. Delancey to get a seat for the production for the students, the students in the school systems, the surrounding school systems. Those seats are free. They have been paid for, donated by Renaissance Connection. So contact Dr. Delancey. Now, before we go, give them your number with which they can contact you. How can you be contacted?
Right. You can call and leave a message at 229-500-2268, and that your voicemail will go right to my email, and leave your email address or your phone number, and I will get back to you and get you assigned to some seats. And that show, again, that will be at 10 a.m. And the show will be about an hour long. And then after that, you can run on over to the cafeteria and dine and get the students used to the idea of being at Albany State University, have them starting to imagine what it will be like when they are enrolled at our wonderful institution.
And can they call ahead and talk with the dining services?
Oh,
How
I've taken care of that. They already know we're gonna have, people on campus,
okay.
and so if that's something that you want to do is after the performance is to take them to the dining services. It's $8.94 per person,
Okay.
and for your
So the
yeah,
seats are free,
the
but
seats are free.
the school you're
This
saving
you have
money.
to buy your own
You can
dinner
buy
or
your
your own
own
lunch.
lunch there.
Yes,
So please, please, please make sure you buy your own lunch. So it's like $9 per person.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And so we will see you on April the 11th, students.
Hmm.
And then we will see you on April the 12th. Everybody
Everybody.
else.
But yes,
Everybody
it would
else.
be a great girls' night.
Yes. Great Girls Night.
Yep.
Sororities, fraternities, the Divine Nine.
Yes.
Come out to this production.
Yes, support your Panhellenic
Support your
sister.
Panhellenic sisters and so many, come out in
Yeah,
in in number. I mean, huge numbers. Let's
right,
let's just sell out
right,
both of those performances on the 12th of April.
right, right.
Okay. So thank you so much again, Dr. Delancey,
Thank
for
you for
joining
having
me.
me.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody. Or good day whenever you're seeing this.